I love this plugin because of one feature that I'm gonna show you in a moment, but I have shared this video before here on the channel. Maybe you have watched it. If not, this plugin has become one of my favorites because of this feature. Let's begin here. You have the early reflections and tail of the reverb, right? And you can blend with this control the reverb tail and the early reflections, and you can choose different reverb types for the early reflections here: room, hall, plate, chamber, for instance, size of the reverb. And you can also choose a different reverb type for the tail of the reverb. Pretty cool. The same type of reverbs available, and also the sizes of the different rooms, and you can link also so that they are the same, right? Pretty cool. I like to have a blend of here in the middle. I think it's great, but do as you prefer. You have the pre-delay, then the diffusion in percentage as well, the size. You have you have here the size of the room, of course, but you can choose also in percentage of that general overall size of the blend or mix of both of these. Then the reverb time, which I think it's important to have it depending on your DAW's tempo or on the tempo of the track. You can very quickly calculate this with an equation like 60,000 divided by the tempo of your track. 60,000 are the milliseconds in a minute divided by the tempo, and you're gonna get like the amount. It's gonna be a good amount for the time of the delay or reverb in this case, and you can multiply that by 2 times 2 times 3 or divided by 2 that result. I think it's important to calculate that. And you have also the modulation of the reverb, the rate, and the depth. You have here the EQ section with some EQ moves that you can apply to the reverb itself. You can remove some lows in the reverb, for instance, some highs as well. And you have here the frequency roll off. You change the different bands down here, and yeah, pretty cool. Also, the main feature that I fell in love with this plugin is this sidechain compressor internally. Instead of like sidechaining the reverb, doing some complicated routing stuff, you have here the sidechain, so that the reverb it's not gonna be in the way of the performance. You can have like the reverb only on the tails of the vocal phrases, for instance. Very, very useful on vocals mostly, where you don't want the reverb be in the way of the main performance, right? I want the reverb in the tails of the phrases. So with this threshold, you turn on the compressor, and with the threshold you start to add this sidechain compression to the reverb, and this will reduce the reverb in the parts where the vocalist is not singing, only when it or in the tail of the phrases, right? So it fills up the space in a nice way. I'm gonna check out that in a moment with this example. And also you have here the dry wet functionality and the output of the reverb also, that I think some plugins don't have an output of the reverb, so you need another plugin or the fader or something. But I love that this plugin has the output as well to compensate, because when you add reverb, most of the times you lower since the vocal gets a little bit to the background with the reverb, you add space and that and all that, you lose a little bit of volume, and you can compensate it with the output. So pretty cool. You have some interesting presets as well for different sizes and rooms, things like that. And yeah, let's check out here this by default preset. And
I would never want to complicate your life. It's the reassurance of why we.
Alright, so that's the default.
I would never want.
That's the early reflections.
I would never want.
Reverb tail.
I would never want.
You can have a nice blend of both.
I would never want.
Cool pre-delay
I would never want.
to separate a bit.
I would never want.
Cool. The diffusion.
I would never want. I would never.
Right, more diffusion. The
I
size.
would never want. I would never.
All right, the reverb
I
time.
would never want.
Longer.
I would never want to count.
The modulation. And let's do some EQ here.
To complicate your life is the reassurance.
Removing a bit of low end, and also we can remove some high end.
I would never want to complicate your life. It's the reassurance of why we'll be.
Alright, pretty cool. Very necessary to EQ the reverb as well, and we can do it internally.
I would never want to complicate your life. It's the reassurance of why we'll be.
Alright, and my favorite feature, the compressor. Let's turn it on, and you choose here the ratio: 4:1 fast, 3:1 medium slow, also 8:1 more aggressive, the sidechain compressor, and you see here the gain reduction. So let me show
I
you.
would never want to
You lower the threshold,
I would never.
and you start to see the gain reduction here.
I would never want.
You notice how the reverb comes back when the vocalist stops singing.
I would never want to
Right, and it's not getting in the way of the original performance. Let's check it out without it.
I would never want.
The reverb, it's all the time, right? And with this compressor,
I would never want to complicate your life. It's
only in the tails, for instance here.
I've never been so sure.
We have the tail, and it fills up nicely the empty spaces, right?